Hi. Aliens. You know them, you love them, but there's a very high chance that they don't love us back. I'm a very firm believer in the paranormal and the unknown. Ghosts, cryptids, urban legends, you name it, I've probably heard about it. Do I believe every single story I've heard per se? No. But is it fun to entertain the idea that there's more out there than just us? Absolutely. This hobby was mainly started from shows like The X-Files, which is arguably one of the catalysts of sci-fi media, at least in a mainstream sense, but I've also gained an appreciation for the unknown through shows and movies like Red Dwarf, Supernatural, Scooby-Doo, Men in Black, Doctor Who, Cabin in the Woods, and so many more that I can't think of off the top of my head. And one creature that is always present in each one of these shows are aliens. If you don't know what an alien is, according to the Google definition, they are creatures from outer space, to put it simply. Extraterrestrials, ET, if you will. And a lot of the time, whether it be in books, movies, or TV shows, we often do them so dirty when it comes to how we portray them in media. I personally think that we give aliens a really hard time in media, and for what? We don't even know if they're actually real, and if they are real, and they saw how we depict them in media, I think they'd be kind of upset. That's right, this is pro-alien propaganda, and I am not ashamed whatsoever. One of the big things I think they'd hate us the most for is how we portray their appearance. When you think of what an alien looks like, the most common thing you're probably going to think of is the big eyes, the lanky bodies, and usually them being some shade of green or gray. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that a stereotype? I highly doubt all aliens look like that, but that's the most common thing that people think when they think of aliens. For decades or even centuries, we've depicted them like this, and I think that's kinda mean. Even as a kid, that was how I was taught to draw aliens because of depictions all around us, from toys, clothes, pins, stuffed animals, embryos, and jars too, which I didn't think there'd be a market for. Even the first search result when you look up aliens caters to the stereotype, and it doesn't help that it's also from the University of Oxford. And you're probably asking yourself, but Red, there's probably a reason why we all depict aliens this way. It's not like we all woke up one day and decided, hey, we're going to depict aliens like this, and you would be correct in that statement. One of the reasons everyone and their mother associates aliens looking like this is thanks to the Barney and Betty Hill abduction incident. Barney and Betty Hill were an American couple who claimed they were abducted by extraterrestrials in rural portion of New Hampshire in 1961. It's from this that we get the first account of what aliens look like from Betty Hill, who'd been remembering things in her dreams and was subsequently writing them down. In one of these dreams, she gives a detailed description of what the alien she saw looked like. This quote comes from the book The Abduction of Betty and Barney Hill by Matthew Bowman, which is a really good read, and I suggest you pick it up if you have the time. But the quote in question goes, "The men stood about 5 to 5 feet 4 inches tall and wore matching blue uniforms with caps similar to those worn by military cadets. They appeared nearly human, with black hair, dark eyes, prominent noses, and bluish lips. Their skin was a grayish color." This, along with the newfound popularity of the science fiction genre in the 1950s, largely helped create the idea of aliens that we have today. The Barney and Betty Hill case is the catalyst for most of the folklore we get for aliens in general. This is also where we got the first account of a UFO sighting, which contributed to the association with flying saucers with aliens. And this honestly wouldn't be a problem if we just stuck to the original account, but I think it's the way that we have morphed it in media that could be the problem with them if they happen to exist. Films like Alien, Signs, Close Encounters, Cloverfield, Predator, The Fourth Kind, and so many more wouldn't exactly help our case when it comes to how we view them. Media aside, if aliens are as advanced and as smart as we make them out to be, I don't think they'd want to interact with humans in the first place. The humans are dumb. We may be the smartest life form here on Earth, but that doesn't exactly make us viable when it comes to making friends across the galaxy. Actually, roping back around to the media side of things, I think that we've made it to where our expectations of how aliens will interact with us are too high, considering the fact that we always depict them as being very friendly most of the time, especially when it comes to other species across the galaxy. I highly doubt that if aliens were to come onto Earth, I don't think we would be very civil with them, especially given most people's shoot first, ask questions later kind of demeanor. And also, have you noticed how there's like no in-between when it comes to how aliens interact with us? Either they're super docile and cool like in E.T., or they're super violent and want to kill us all like in Alien. There is no middle ground when it comes to how aliens interact with humans, and if there is, please tell me, because I am unaware at the moment. That distinction alone would probably also make them hate us a lot, but again, this is all just speculation, hopefully. We do so many questionable things on the daily that if any species of higher intelligence has even glanced our way, I truly think they'd tuck tail and run. A good example of this would lie in the Florida Man trend, where you type in a date and then Florida Man behind it and you get an article related to some absurd thing some person in Florida did. Some examples include July 14th, Florida man accused of breaking into a dead neighbor's home. He said he had permission. March 6th, Florida man claims airport bomb threat was an attempt to flirt with a fellow traveler. September 22nd, Florida man rides a manatee, dares police to arrest him, gets arrested. January 22nd, Florida man accused of attacking a bus for dropping him off at Disney World instead of SeaWorld won't be charged. October 5th, Florida man accused of planning to distribute over 1.8k worth of misbranded pills. And I could keep going. There are literally years and years of titles like this, and more coming out by the day. And this is just one state in one country. Imagine all the various headlines about weird or disturbing things that aliens could find just by looking on our deep web. Like, imagine I went up to an alien just after they landed on Earth. They're getting settled in, they're asking for a leader, and I explained to them in excruciating detail all of the things Chris Chan has done in the course of his digital footprint and on his criminal record. And you could easily interchange that name with a bunch of other controversial figures like Alex Jones, Shane Dawson, the Paul brothers, Ben Shapiro, and this is just in the realm of internet personalities. We couldn't even begin to explain to them the length of things that our government has done, the various government that they want to interact with. Imagine having to explain to an alien World War II, or just any war for that matter. The war on drugs, Afghanistan, Vietnam. All of these things that showcase human beings' true, like, hatred for one another. Do you think they'd be scared? Or at the very least, a little disturbed? Like, as if I came to a new planet and I learned all of the various horrifying things that species had done throughout its history, I'd be a little terrified. Or maybe they're just as violent as we are and we don't even know it. Maybe they're more violent than us and this would barely faze them. Also, the pure existence of Area 51 would probably deter them from coming here in the first place. If I went to a planet that had a facility surrounded in mystery that was constantly associated with my technology and testing on my people, I wouldn't want to go there either, especially if it was a facility ran by the government that I am trying to interact with. And even if aliens did decide to invade, which is another stereotype that we have put in place due to the great things that we have done in the media, we don't know what kind of tech they'd have at all. Who's to say that aliens aren't just as dumb as we are? On one hand, they could rule over us with an iron fist, but on the other, they could be so enamored with a stick that they forget that they're invading us. And if they even are capable of invading us and changing the very fabric of how we do our daily things, I feel like most people would probably go along with it, especially given the state of how things are in government and how people all over the world every single day are getting their basic human rights taken away. And I could sit here all day and talk about the don'ts and the do's and the what ifs and what would happen if this happened or this and how they would feel about it, but we don't know, and we will never know more than likely because they are just a thing we made up in pop culture. Despite years and years of alien abduction reports, alien sightings, UFO sightings, we have no real proof that aliens exist because they are just a thing we made up in pop culture. The whole reason there was a surge in alien abduction reports after in like the 50s is because of the Betty and Barney Hill abduction incident. That made its way into pop culture and that influenced the massive surge of alien abduction reports we had after the fact. We talk about aliens in such depth, like we've actually seen one up close and personal, and like they've told us all of these things about themselves, when that is very far from the truth. And that to me is absolutely crazy. Everything we know about aliens is just word of mouth from other people. It's literally just ever expanding folklore that's blown up to such a massive extent thanks to the internet, which on one hand is very cool. It's very beautiful that there's just a massive community of people who believe in this one thing and they find joy in talking about this one thing with one another. That's super dope. But at the same time, it's very concerning how many people just take it to heart and don't fact check themselves whatsoever and believe things wholeheartedly and go full force on something without checking if it's true or not. I guess that statement can also apply to a lot of things in life, but in this case it's applying to aliens. And this isn't me trying to be like, hey, don't do that because you don't have any factual evidence, because where's the fun in that? But what I'm trying to say is don't believe things blindly, I guess, and also just don't be an idiot on the internet. That should be a given, but hey, we have to say it for a reason. At the end of the day, I don't know if aliens are real. No one does. But if they are, I hope they're as cool and as chill as we have depicted them sometimes, and hopefully they don't want to kill us on sight. And even if they do, I hope they make it quick and painless. And if you're an alien who just so happens to be watching this in the great beyond somewhere, hi, hello, please be nice to us. Humans are stupid and they do not know what they're doing wrong, or however that Bible verse goes. I don't know it off the top of my head, but hey, we're chill sometimes. Also, you may be asking yourself, Red, where have you been? You have not been active in like over a month or two, depending on when this video comes out, and you would be correct, and I'm sorry for my absence. I got a real job. I know, that sounds really scary, and it is. It's my first job that I've ever had, and it's an experience. I'm learning very quickly how stupid people can actually be on a day-to-day basis and how many people lack basic fundamental common sense. It's honestly kind of terrifying. And when I say I got a job, you're probably thinking, oh, you're just gonna stop uploading forever. No, that is not the case. I have like over 40 or 50 scripts that I still want to publish and I still want to make into videos, but I don't have the time right now, unfortunately, because I am out there making money, getting that bag. Is that the correct use of that phrase? I'm not sure, but I will be here sometimes, just a little less often, a little less frequently. I have been uploading a lot more on YouTube Shorts because it's easy. I understand why content farms exist now, which is also a thing I want to talk about one day, but now is not the time. I will be around, maybe not as much, maybe not as often, but I will be here in the shadows looking, and yeah, I'm still here. This is just my long-winded way of saying, hey, I'm still here, I'm still kicking, still making things, still creating things. If you want so desperately to like interact with my content or anything like that, follow my social media. It should be in the description, but here's my Instagram, my Twitter, my I don't know what else, my Pinterest, which I have, and is for some reason it has a lot of followers. I don't understand it, honestly. Also, speaking of followers, because of YouTube Shorts, we're at 900 something now. I haven't checked at the time of uploading this, but it should still be around 900, which is scary, considering I've only been at this for a year, and sometimes it takes people literal years or decades to even get to this point on YouTube. So, thank you so much. That is it's a little bit scary, considering I've never had this much attention on me before. Does that sound narcissistic? Maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, this is my long-winded way of saying thank you for watching my content, and I will be around, just looking in the shadows, you know, doing the thing, but I will be posting. I'll be around. Just not as much. And that is all I have to say for now. Thank you for watching, have a beautiful rest of your day wherever you are, stay safe, and bye-bye for now.